In the Golden Land, the endless rain continued to fall. Battler was nowhere to be seen. It would very soon reach the time that Battler had joined in on the 5th game, and control of the pieces would be passed on to Battler. In other words, he would only be officially added to the game now in this final stage, where Bernd Kastel had pinpointed the culprit. So, he had left the arbor a short while ago. Now the only ones inside were Virgilia, who continued to knit silently, and Berto, who just sat there blankly amidst the smell of her black tea, not even putting the cup to her lips. Virgilia stopped knitting for a moment, and looked out across the vast golden rose garden that extended as far as the eye could see.
バトラ君は誰が犯人云々というだけのゲームなら、もう二度と屈することのない力を身につけたと言えるでしょう。第4のゲームまでであなたは全てのメッセージを、彼つまりバトラ君はいつでも全ての真実に気づいても良いということです。しかし彼には甘えがある。だからこのままゲームを幾百と続けたとしても永遠に解けはしない。まるで青い鳥を探すかのように永遠にさまよい続けるだけ。
And that is you, Beatrice. It's the same for you. Even if this game continues hundreds more times, you will never reach the answer you seek, for all eternity. Bernd Kastel will abuse this game without a doubt. LambdaDelta will also churn this game about with the utmost arrogance. At a glance, that may be humiliating and appear to you and Battler as though the game has been stolen from you. However, that is something the two of you need right now. To end Battler's naive softness. To end your hesitation.
だからあなたはあの二人を呼んだのです。あなたたちの永遠の拷問を終わらせるため。あの二人はあなたに勝利か敗北のいずれかを与えるでしょう。しかしそれはいずれであってももはや慈悲に満ちたものです。あなたにももうそれは分かっているはず。
Virgilia faced Beato, whom she had come to adore as a daughter, with cold eyes that she must not have shown often. It was like the gaze of a mother who, instead of scolding, silently urges their child to recognize their mistake.
ベアトリーチェ、あなたはいつまでそうして生きるでもなく死ぬでもなく天国に昇るでもなく地獄に落ちるでもなく煉獄山の頂上でぼんやりとしているつもりなの。
When that music kicks in, you know that we're about to have some emotional realization.
私はワルギリア、彼を煉獄山に案内し、頂上のあなたのところまで連れてきました。そしてあなたはベアトリーチェ、彼の手を取って天国へ昇るか、彼を抱いて地獄へ落ちるか、選ばなくてはならない。
Did you know that a discord called Purgatory, which lies in the gap between heaven and hell, is sometimes more torturous than even hell itself? On the gates of hell, it is written that you must abandon all hope. A human without hope can accept their suffering and give up. However, the residents of Purgatory have hope. A hope of possibly reaching heaven, a hope that cannot be abandoned. And it tortures them. Even in the depths of hell, no greater torture device exists than a single pin known as hope.
飛びなさい。煉獄の崖より。淡く脆くてくだらない希望の未練ごとパンドラの箱を開け放ってしまいなさい。怖いでしょう、箱を開けるのよ。
Beato was silent, but with a single tear she nodded slightly.
箱の中の猫は生きているのか、それを確かめるときに きます。死んでいる猫ならば早く供養して天へ登ってもらいなさい。生きている猫ならば早く餌を与えて全ての愛情を注いであげなさい。生き死にに関係なくあなたの猫箱は猫を永遠に冒涜しています。あなたが開くことを恐れた箱の鍵をあの二人が持ってきてくれましたよ。
It's not about a cat, by the way, just in case you were wondering. I think that's obvious. Beatrice, it's time for you to die now. I hope that your heart is stopped by the hand of the person you desire. That's a weird ass sounding bell. Kinda sounds like it has an echo. Well, here we go. The assembly has started. All of the pieces from the game board were gathered. All of the humans, furniture, witches, and the witches on an even higher level had gathered in one place. That place was like a solemn cathedral with an unbelievably high ceiling. White stonework, golden ornaments. Though there were windows, there were no entrances or exits. It was a strange place. But for some reason, no one wondered where the strange place was, because they were not given the right to think of this place as strange.
コマども、全員揃ったかしら？全員揃いましたであります。ご苦労様。そうかね。一体今ここに何人いるのかしら。
何人いようとも18人を超えた存在は全て幻よ。
それを認めさせるのがわらわのゲームでな。
The three witches were seated on special thrones set up on a very high balcony. In the center sat the game master, LambdadeltaYT, and on either side of the semicircular balcony sat Bernkastel and Beatrice facing each other. Below them, Erica ran forward, lifted the corners of her skirt and bowed respectfully.
大ラムダデルタ教、我が集会宣言をお聞き届けくださり感謝いたします。そして大ベルンカステル教、ご期待ください。必ずや主を苛む退屈の毒を一時であろうとも忘れさせてご覧に入れます。
That poison is boredom, by the way.
ええ、期待しているわ。それでこそ私の分身、私の駒よ。
Erica and Bernkastel exchanged cruel smiles that would make anyone want to avert their gaze.
お聞きなさい。魔女ども、人間ども、これより魔女集会にて幻想法廷の改定を宣言する。
The commander of the game spoke with words of power. Though her words were spoken within such vast space, they rang out with the force of a bell in a bell tower.
お前たちのこのゲームにおける生と役割はおしまい。第5のゲームはこれにて閉じられ、24時を迎えての答え合わせとなるわ。では早速と言いたいところだけど、その前にまずは軽く自己紹介から始めようかしら。これだけ大勢いるんだしね。私はラムダデルタ、絶対の魔女にして新しきゲームの支配者。
ベルンカステル、奇跡の魔女ベアトリーチェの魔女幻想のカンパを目的とするの。
無限の魔女 ベアトリーチェである。我が存在の主張と夏日金蔵の保護を目的とする。
バトラ様。
So that's the real battler, right? It's not the piece. It's our battler, basically.
次なる序列はあなたである。
後ろ宮バトラー、ベアトラー。ああ、いや。魔女どもと戦ってる。以上だ。
ご存知と思いますが、貴殿は今回のゲームは途中よりの参加となっております。魔女集会開催のこの時点ではまだ未参加ということです。お分かりでありますか？
分かってるぜ。しばらくは発言権がないってことだろ。
ご理解感謝であります。
Even though Battler held a rank near that of witches, he sat on the foremost of the benches shared with the other relatives, all by himself at one end. He met the gaze of Beato, who was up on the balcony.
わらわの宿敵であると一言言えばよいものを。
お前だけの敵とは限らねえからだよ。
取り返すぞ。これはわらわたちのゲームだ。
ああ。
I almost said I was fighting against Beato's illusion of the witch. Since the beginning, Beato has been my only enemy. But right now, Erika and those witches who started toying around with Beato's tail are also my enemies. Who should I fight and how? Maybe it's a good thing I don't have the right to speak for a while. I'll calm down and coolly watch over everything.
魔女集会の開催発起人にして探偵フルドエリカです。この第5のゲームの犯人を暴き、この物語に愉快なピリオドを与えてご覧に入れます。
Erika greeted the witches above her when the humans behind her once again.
私も期待してるわ。さあ、残りのコマどもも適当にザラーっと自己紹介なさい。人間ども、全員自己紹介を。
When 45 urged him to introduce himself, Kinzo stood up.
後ろ宮金蔵だ。書斎の窓より抜け、六軒島のどこかに潜んでおる。
後ろ宮クロウス。現在は囚われの身でどこかに監禁されている。
後ろ宮エヴァよ、生きてるよ。
ルドルフだ。この後もずっと後ろ宮だからな。名字は走るぜ。
後ろローザです。第一の晩に殺されました。
ジェシカ、同じく第一の晩に死亡だぜ。
ジョージです。同じく第一の晩に死亡。
マリア、死んじゃったけど私はこうして喋ってるね。死ぬことなんて大した問題じゃないでしょ。
Fucking hell, Maria, just stop it already. Can someone slap her?
後ろ宮夏日です。生きております。
Fucking savage.
秀吉や、ついさっき殺されたばかりや。
キリエよ、まだ生きてるわ。
南條です。私も流られておりますな。
源氏と申します。第一の晩に死亡でございます。
シャノンです。生存してます。
カノンです。同じく生存。
ゴーダです。よろしくお願いします。皆様方。
熊沢でございます。よろしくお願いします。
続いて魔女ども、全員自己紹介を。
Virgilia's group could also be seen. Unlike the floor Beato's group was on, the second floor had a balcony that looked like raised audience seating, and they sat there looking down as though they were at a theater.
ワルギリアと申します。ベアトリーチェの師匠です。ガープよ、 死体を消す役担
炉の上紅茶を入れる役担当ですが
煉獄の七姉妹を代表してご挨拶申し上げます。第2の番の秀吉殺人を担当しました。煉獄の七姉妹ここに。続けてエリカ教の家具どもは自己紹介を。ガートルード異端審問補佐官なり。
コーネリア異端審問補佐官なり。
The two of them could also be seen on the second floor audience seating. They sat apart from Virgilia's group. Then, Glenor, who was seated between the two, slowly stood up. She had a presence and dignity about her, as though she was overseeing everything from that place.
ドラノール・エーノックスであります。エリカ教の首席補佐を務めます。バトラー、あなたには期待しています。私を失望させないでください。
お互い全力でぶつかるだけだ。
ドラノールの出番は本来なら必要ありません。しかし魔女側が醜く言い逃れをもてあそぶとき、それを断罪してもらわねばなりません。書斎での奇跡は二度と起こりませんから。
最後にご挨拶申し上げます。本魔女集会の進行管理を命ぜられたシエスタ姉妹近衛隊であります。
よろしくお願いします。
以上で全ての駒の自己紹介を終了する。一堂に会するは全38名。
It's crazy, 48 compared to like the original 18 that are on the island, supposedly. There are 48 characters in the 5th game, but if you added all the pieces from previous games too, it would probably rise even higher. Yeah, we have Angie, we have Amakusa, we have... God, the boat guy. We have so many characters, and even more to come. That's the funny thing. This game, which has so often been likened to chess, now has far more pieces than a chessboard.
いいわ。では始めようかしら。発起人、始めてちょうだい。ああ、悪いけどそこのヤギさん、ジュースのおかわりお願いね。私にはポップコーンを。ああ、そうだったわね。悪魔の感激はポップコーンと相場が決まってるとあんたが決めたんだもんね。
ええ、楽しませてもらうわ。あと紅茶とからし味噌をもらえる？エリカ、始めなさい。私の退屈はもう始まってるわよ。
はい、我が主、お任せを。静粛に、沈黙を。
At the sound of her voice, the Chiesta sister corps straightened up, lifted their right knees, and stamped down hard on the floor with their heels. What a sight to behold. It became a low, deep rumble in the ground, and all chatter in the cathedral disappeared instantly, as their eyes and expressions became even more hollow and empty. The room fell back into silence, almost as though they were a collection of wax models. Amidst this heavy silence, there was a sound of footsteps, as Erika walked out into the center, where she could catch everyone's attention. When she signaled with her chin, a gold attendant appeared from behind a pillar, and carried a single plain chair out into the front and center of the room. It must have been the defendant's chair.
フルドエリカは告発します。第5のゲームの殺人犯は後宮夏日さん。あなたが犯人です。
Erika pointed at Natsui and spoke. The Natsui waxed all alone, shook and regained its expression. It was an expression of panic.
シエスタ姉妹、帰国人を席へ連れてってちょうだい。
了解であります。 ちょっと何をするのです。
It's curious since just imagine that this is what happened after every game, just not as dramatical, since Battler doesn't call for an assembly every time they try to solve the game together. But the thing is that the conundrum with Battler was he doesn't want to believe in witches, yet at the same time he also doesn't want to believe that one of the family did it. Erika is different. Erika finds a person that's suspicious and tries to corner them, and this time it's Natsuhi. So that's why the answer arcs are. It's not necessarily just because Beatrice presented all of the mysteries to Battler and he's trying to solve whatever might be the underlying issue at hand, not necessarily the murder or mysteries, but it also feels, in a way it feels like a character like Erika was needed in order to give straight answers, because Battler doesn't want answers, to be honest. Sorry for the rant. 45 and 410 both pinned Natsuhi's arms behind her back and led her to the chair in the center. Natsuhi resisted, but her Jester sisters were surprisingly strong, and she couldn't do anything. She turned to the relatives for help, but they just remained silent like wax models.
これよりフルデエリカはなぜ後宮夏日にだけ犯行が可能か再構築してご覧に入れます。ベアト、もちろん受けるでしょ。
当然よ。後宮家顧問錬金術師黄金のベアトリーチェだ。フルドエリカ、受けて立つぞ。我が主に着せようと企むその濡れ衣、引き裂いてくれるわ。ベ
アトリーチ
ェ、安心せよ夏日。そなたはわらわの主だ。そして心に片翼のわしを刻んだ真の当主よ。身に覚えなき罪に怯えるでない。
At those words, Natsuhi jerked back and gulped. Her panic finally disappeared and she stood up straight.
そうですとも。私は後宮夏日、後宮家を冒涜するあらゆる挑戦を受けて立ちましょう。
どうしてこの状況にそのような虚勢が張れるやろ。あなた、本当にどこのかけらでもいじめられっ子ね。ではベルン、主張どうぞ。ベルンカステルは主張するわ。このゲームの犯人は人間、後宮夏日。ベアトもどうぞ。
ベアトリーチェは主張する。このゲームの犯人は人間にあらず。わらわこそ犯人であるわ。
Van Castle, who smiled daringly, and Beatrice, who smiled firmly, crossed gazes.
お聞きね、魔女ども、人間ども。一つの真実に二つの主張が現れたわ。犯人は人間、後宮夏日か。犯人は魔女、ベアトリーチェか。魔女が勝てば第5のゲームの真相は闇に消える。エリカが勝てばゲーム版より魔女幻想は打ち滅ぼされる。つまりベアトにとってのみ負けることの許されない勝負だけれど、覚悟は大丈夫？
何の覚悟が必要だというのか。もとより望むところよ。
If Erika wins, the illusion of the witch will be destroyed. That means the existence of the witch will be denied. Beata was fighting for her life. However, this wasn't the only time she had been fighting for her life. It had always been a life or death struggle, even when she fought with Battler. Because if Battler had won and destroyed the illusion of the witch in the previous games, Beata would have been destroyed.
汚ねえな。エリカのやつだけ負けても何も失わない。
それはどうでしょう。ベルンカステル教には情けの心がありません。彼女は自分の望んだ活躍をしなかった駒に温かい処遇を与えるとは思えません。
It was inconceivable that the ruthless Bernkastel would place no blame at all on a piece who had suffered defeat. Erika was probably fighting for her life just as much. The two claims would clash and one would be weeded out. One would fall, and would not leave this place alive. The only ones who truly had nothing to lose were those witches.